Is it February 28th yet? I know it's a few days away, but I just want Lightfall here, and there's many reasons why I want Lightfall. For one, that trailer looked absolutely stunning. It's wild. If you guys haven't checked it out, check out the launch trailer. It's crazy, but there's tons of quality of life changes to Destiny 2 Lightfall coming that honestly makes it feel like Destiny 3 is coming. But today in this video, as you probably clicked, we are talking about the Submission submachine gun from the Vow of Disciple raid. This is a weapon I'm going to be checking out first because it's a kinetic damage primary, and we'll talk about why that is so important, because these weapons collectively, this specific kinetic damage type whatever, is seeing lots of changes that are trying to make it better, or at least more viable in the PvE sandbox, with coming with a lot of nerfs to our player, also a lot of buffs to how we can do things, and honestly all of it sounds great. So first we'll talk about how you get this weapon, jump into the best role for this weapon you can craft for PvE, and then we'll talk about some of the changes Bungie is doing to understand why this weapon is going to be, in my opinion, one of the best out there at the launch of Lightfall. And obviously we have to wait and see how new weapons play into the sandbox. I'm sure they'll be really good, such as stranded weapons and other stuff, but yeah, let's jump right into the video. So right off the bat, Vow of Disciple is where you want to find this weapon. Unfortunately, it's tied to the Witch Queen expansion, so if you guys don't have that, honestly, purchase it. It's really good. However, if you guys don't have Beyond Light and Shadowkeep, Bungie is updating the legendary edition of the game, or a legendary version of the game, where you can get the Beyond Light, Shadowkeep, and Witch Queen expansion all in a paired package, and obviously the Lightfall expansion will be in a separate package. I think this is the best bang for your buck when it comes to trying to get into Destiny, so if you guys are in that pool of people, definitely pick up that edition when it drops. But with that being said, let's jump into the best setup for this weapon. We're rocking corkscrew rifling, tactical mag, enhanced overflow, and enhanced frenzy with soul drinker as the origin trait, can't change that, and a ranged masterwork. Now this is a craftable weapon, so if you guys are lucky like me and get 5 red frames on your first 2 clears of Vow of Disciple, yes, I don't know how I did that, then you can craft this weapon and get this perfect roll for yourself. However, if you're not as lucky, really overflow and frenzy are the 2 key perks to get if you get it to drop that you will be looking out for, so keep that in mind. Now I love overflow more than subsistence, simply in the fact that it feels better on a submachine gun than, you know, subsistence. Subsistance has weird different buffs, the amount of ammo it gives you back, and honestly how viable that is also dependent on your damage and how much damage you're doing, and an SMG can't compare to an auto rifle. So auto rifles I definitely feel like are better at subsistence than SMGs, so that's why I kind of switch to overflow when I can. And trust me guys, you have 84 rounds with enhanced overflow and tactical mag on. It is juicy. But we showcased the role, let's explain why this is so important and why this weapon will probably be a top tier weapon in all of Destiny 2 Lightfall. So kinetic weapons are seeing changes, specifically kinetic primary weapon, which is what this is. We'll be seeing their damage multiplier increase from 1.05 to 1.1. And there's also apparently a kinetic damage type perk coming to Lightfall. They've done some nerfs, like stasis weapons no longer have the 5% damage bonus versus unshielded targets, and they've buffed kinetic special weapon damage specifically too. That's not the submission, that's like a Riptide, or not Riptide, but you know, a shotgun that's a kinetic damage, stuff like that. Now, this is all great changes, but there's even more changes coming to kinetic weapons that we got recently, and this bringing challenge back to Destiny. Now, for one, we're not going to go over all this. We'll talk about the stuff specifically that affects this weapon and the kinetic primary weapon archetype. Match game is being removed. This is something that was really hindering the end game experience with your loadout. You'll be stuck using a primary weapon based on an energy type. So if you're using SMGs, if it was Void, you're probably using Funnel Web. If it was Solar, you're using Callus Mini Tool. And if it was Arc, you're probably using the Ikelos SMG. It really held back the loadouts for primary weapons in the end game, so it's good seeing this being removed. Now they're also adding surges, and specifically surges are ways to increase your damage. So surges increase elemental damage dealt by 25%. Surges for higher difficulty activities change every season based around a featured damage type, and the featured surge for Season of Defiance, which is the next season with Lightfall, will be Strand. Weekly rotating surges are also in play, and it will be Solar and Void. Threats are also, again, ways for enemies to do more damage to you, so that's a way to balance things out. Now, they are also adding overcharged weapons, and this is again for high level activities. An overcharged weapon deals 25% more damage. Kinetic damage is also increased by 25% if you're using the surging subclass. So for example, if you're using Strand and you're using the Submission SMG, you'll be getting that 25% damage increase with no caveats. Now, the only thing to keep in mind is that overcharges and surges do not stack, but if you guys don't want to rock the surging subclass, let's say, overcharged weapons can come from several sources, so weapons are set per activity, and also weapons featured as champion counters on the season artifact are also overcharged weapons as well, which I think is really cool and a nice little way to spice up the PvE sandbox. But collectively, with all these changes, man, the Submission SMGs is definitely going to be one of the weapons I'm going to be checking out first. There's also a long list of weapons I have in my vault, and I'm sure that are coming out that we'll be going over and going into detail with. I think I'm really going to go heavy on the kinetic damage primaries this season and this year. I use way too many energy-based primaries that I'm a little tired of it. It was one of my massive complaints this year of Destiny, and honestly, I'm really happy Bungie is changing this. It should create a very exciting loadout experience for both endgame and just the game itself. So let me know your thoughts on these changes. Are they going to make weapons like the Submission better, or you just think it's going to be the same? I'm really keen on thinking it's going to be more catered to just being a flexible option, and in a very effective flexible option as is. Obviously, breaking shields faster with those energy primaries are also going to be really powerful as well, but again, I feel like I'm not as reliant on it as I was in the current PvE sandbox, and it sounds like in the next PvE sandbox things are going to be a little bit more fleshed out and flexible, which is very good. But leave a comment down below if you guys enjoyed this video, found this video informative. Definitely drop this video a like, and if you guys are also new here and want more content from me, trust me, you're going to want more content because Lightfall is coming around and we have tons of it on the way. Oh boy, I cannot wait to experience this expansion. Definitely be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell to be notified for when I drop more content. Well, till then, all I got for this one. ShadowNinja here, and I'm out.